வெல்கம் டு சென்னை ரேடியோ. இன்றைக்கி நம்ம இன்டர்வியூ பண்ண போகிற பிரபலம் வந்து கேரளாவில் பிறந்து ஒரு சின்ன கிராமத்தில் வளர்ந்து கெரோசின் லைட்டில் படித்து இப்போது உலகத்தில் மிக இம்பார்ட்டண்ட் சவுண்ட் இன்ஜினியர்ஸில் ஒருத்தராக திகழும் ஒருவர். அவர் என்ன அச்சீவ் பண்ணியிருக்கார் அப்படின்னா ஒன்றும் இல்லைங்க, கொஞ்சம் ஸ்க்ரீன் அவார்ட்ஸ், கொஞ்சம் ஃபிலிம்ஃபேர் அவார்ட்ஸ், நேஷ்னல் அவார்ட்ஸ், டாக்டர் பட்டம், பத்மஸ்ரீ, பாஃப்டா, அப்புறம் ஆஸ்கர். அவ்வளோதான். இன்னும் நிறையா இருக்குது. அது யாருன்னு உங்களுக்கு எல்லாம் தெரியும்னு நினைக்கிறேன். ஒன் அண்ட் ஒன்லி மிஸ்டர் ரெசுல் Pookutty. Sir, thank you so much, sir, for being in the interview.
Thank you for such a lovely introduction.
Such a privilege being here, sir, in front of you. Sir, ஒரு சின்ன கிராமத்துலேருந்து now you're one of the superstars in the technical aspects of filmmaking. So how was your journey?
Oh, the superstar, all that is very, it's a big crown to carry. First of all, they are created by the media. It is put upon people's shoulder. Sometimes they are able to carry it, some people are not able to carry it. So I don't know if my shoulders are strong enough to carry it. So let's keep that aside. I'm a genuine, honest film lover. I'm a film aficionado. I love cinema. That's my passion. I can't think of anything else in my life. So I carry that with me. I carry that in my work. I approach every film as my first film. So I will like people to look at me in that perspective. My journey, you summed it up all. Born and brought up in a very small village. Of course, there was no electricity there. The nearest school was 6 kilometers away. I walked to school every day. School, we used to get one-time meal. That was a big bonus. Inspiration to go to school. I still remember those days in my school because I was one of the students who always got an opportunity to go and watch a movie outside, because my mother's family house or my father's family house, when we go there, they had electricity, they had cinema halls there. And my job when I come back after that, short trips, is to narrate the story. So in the morning when we walk to the school, one group I will be narrating the whole story of a film. Evening I'll be narrating to another group. Next day another group. Next day another group. After days of narration, I get bored. I start adding my own things, to the story. That is how my, days were. We were in communion with nature, You said I studied under kerosene lamp. Yes, there was no other way. In fact, actually down there in my room, there are 3 kerosene lamps, which was brought by my mother-in-law. Because last week when we met in Trivandrum, I went to a very high-profile 5-star hotel to have dinner with my father-in-law, mother-in-law, my wife and my children. So that I saw 3 kerosene lamps, Otulak, we say Otulak. It was a curie, it was kept there, and I wanted one of them because one of them looked exactly like the one that I studied under. So I asked them and they turned it down. My mother-in-law got very offended, So she went to the best shop and brought 3 lamps, she brought it to Chennai. She came for the music release. So she brought it to Chennai and it was in my room. And I looked at it, it's sparkling, But that was not the lamp I wanted. I wanted that lamp. So, in a way, I'm bound to my past, very nostalgic, very colorful, very fancy, I came a long way. The walk to the school was long. The walk to the college was even longer. Walk to the film school was even longer. I stood at the gate of the film school 20 years ago and I looked at the long stretch of the film school that leads to the boys' high school, boys' hostel. And I never thought that I'll be here, sitting here today. Now, I was just accidentally looking through somebody's name, and he was a senior. I forgot his name. He met me at the airport when I was coming here. He hugged me and he gave me his number. But I forgot his name, and I didn't have the guts to ask him his name. So I was looking through websites to find his name, and I come across a website, the top 10 alumni of FTI. I was searching for his name, and I saw Nasruddin Shah, Adur Gopalakrishnan, Nasruddin Shah, Om Puri, Shabana Asmi, Resul Pookutty. I can't believe that my name has been read with their names. 15 years ago, 17 years ago, when I was at the gate of the institute, I never thought something like that will happen in my life. From that gate to this point where I'm sitting here next to you, another long walk, a walk where I shed all my fears, a walk where I sensed what is real in life, a walk where I learned the real knowledge, a walk where I come across people and situations in life which made me stronger, which made me kinder, which made me humble as a human being. So it's a long walk.
When you heard that your village and the market junction, when it's turned into Oscar junction, so what was your feeling when that happened, and when you heard that for the first time?
I didn't know. I didn't know the name was changed too. So just opposite to my house, there's something called a Maveli store. I don't know if you know what is a Maveli store. You heard of Onam?
Yes.
Onam is our harvest festival. So Onam is a celebration, and we believe that during Onam, the famous king of Kerala, who ruled Kerala and who was Kerala had the best time under his kingship. His name is Maveli. He comes back to visit, to see his prajas. So we are supposed to wear our best clothes, eat the best food, so that when he comes to visit us, we want him to see that his prajas are happy. Vaman asked him, he was a very kind man. So Vaman came and asked him one thing. He said, whatever you ask, I'll give you. He asked for 3 steps of earth. He granted. So first earth, he finished the whole of earth, first step. Second step, the whole of Bhulogam. Third step, there was no space. So Vamana asked him, where do I put my third step? He said, put it in my head. So he bowed in front of him, he put his head, he went to Patalam. That's the whole story about. So there are stores by the government of Kerala. It's called Maveli store. So where you get under reduced rate, the civil supplies government supplies food like rice and dal and all that. So it's different from ration shop.
Okay.
Maveli store is a separate section.
Right.
So just opposite my house, there's a Maveli store. So after the Oscars, in one of my trips when I went to that place, I was just reading Maveli store, Oscar Junction. Until then it was Market Junction.
It is almost like, you were born in that. The one street has changed because of you. And the moment, the pride and the feeling.
Even now, people, a lot of people go to my house, that area. A lot of people, text me from there. This is the place where you're born. I'm standing in front of that house. Someone even go to my house, ask my brother's house. My brother stays there. That's my family house. We have still kept the house as it is. We haven't touched it. So they go, sometimes have tea. They serve them tea or water or anything, and they text me from there. They go to that area and say that, and they text me from there. So I feel great. I had the rare opportunity to see all that in my lifetime. So that's a great thing.
Now let's talk about why we are here, the sound story. So what made you the transition to a hero from a sound engineer? What made that happen?
Often people confuse this because I've been receiving messages and mails. Sound story is not my biopic. First and foremost, I want to make it very clear. This is not my biopic. This is a story that we chanced upon. One of my interviews after the Oscars, when they asked me what is your biggest ambition, what do you want to do next, I had no answers. I said I want to record Puram, the sounds of Puram, because that's one of the biggest sound festival in the world. And being a sound man, I wanted to record it and feature it. Somebody who has seen this interview from the US contacted us through many other people and came to my manager and asked me, Puram is happening this year, would you like to record it? I'll put in the money. I want to fulfill your dream. See, I am sum total of all these people. There's always people who come across in my life who changed me. And this is one such incident. Anyway, to cut a long story short, so I had 15 days to put all these things together. And I had a lot of other work, other commitments. My family went for vacation. I couldn't join them. I was in Thrissur. In 15 days, I put everything together. One of the biggest recording session I have ever done. I didn't even know how to go about it. Being a film person, I started combining different techniques. You have Oru 3D. I had taken some element from Oru 3D. There is Dolby Atmos. The immersive aspect of Dolby Atmos, I took it out of that. Some VR technology, I took it out and put it together. I thought I'll create an experience which is one of its kind. So I finished the recording over a period of 3 days because of the festival runs in for 5 days. After 5 days, we were just hanging around and thought. When we were doing this, they asked me, we'll make a documentary. We'll make a film about how you are doing this. I said, okay, fine. So we were trying to analyze what are the 5 elements of Puram. And one of the elements is elephants. So we went to an elephant breeding farm in Guruvayur and we were just talking to the Mahat. And she told me that many things about elephants that I never knew. And she asked me, Resul, do you know that one of the elephants in that group standing around is half blind? I said, no, I don't know. So what happens? She says, nothing. He just stands there and he goes by the sound. And I thought, wow. So if I just replace the elephant and place a visually challenged man or a woman over there, what would it be like? Will he or she will ever be able to enjoy in real life to go there among the 1 million people and enjoy Puram or not? And physically they can't. And if they can't, can my ears be their eyes? That's where the entire idea of the film evolved.
A hypothetical question. So what if this movie becomes a big hit? And
fingers crossed. Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. And what if Shankar sir comes to you and says, you are going to be the hero of 3.0?
I would do it.
As a hero.
I have complete faith in Shankar. I have blind faith in him. He is a fantastic storyteller. He knows exactly what he's doing, and he wouldn't compromise for anything. And he will make me work hard. He will juice out the best in me, if at all there is anything. Yeah.
The music launch happened yesterday, so just tell us about the music a little bit about
the music is driven by the Puram, you know. So the 3 tracks, there are total 5 tracks in the film. We only released the first one yesterday. The song that we released yesterday is just a nostalgic track, because I am a sound designer in the film who is coming to Kerala after a long time, because I don't live in Kerala. I live in Mumbai. I work all over the world. So going back to Kerala is always, for me, is very nostalgic, you know. Like I said, I am like every Malayali or like every Indian. We are very connected to our past. We're very hooked onto it. It's very nostalgic, you know. You ask any Indian anywhere living in the world, ask him what is your last wish. He says, I just want to wrap up everything, go back to my village. Be it a billionaire, be it a millionaire, whoever it is, he want to go back to his village and spend his last time there. That is a true Indian. That is Indianness. That is because every Indian carries that little village in his heart. Every Indian is a walking village, in that sense. Then people who've grown up here, brought up here, studied here, then moved for various reasons, moved abroad, you know, and trying to find a life there. He's still carrying something. Because you look at any expatriate, the best cultural association they have, you know. You go to America, you go to Middle East, the best of the, you know, even we don't celebrate. We don't take our art and culture that seriously than like the way the expatriates take. So people are like that. So this song is a nostalgia of coming back home, you know. There are 3 more tracks which are, and there's another song which is like a call for Puram, which is a time for celebration of togetherness, you know, of there is no sense of caste, creed, religion during these festivals, during this time in the temple. Anyone and everyone, all over Kerala. Actually, there are people from Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, nearby states, comes to this Puram and celebrate, and they live there. They celebrate this, and so it's a call for that, you know. There are 3 tracks which are the actual recordings of Puram, which I'm still trying to put it together. Will be part of the whole album. So we only released 1 yesterday. There are 4 more and 3 more in preparation. 1 is already scored. Then later on, maybe we will come out with the climax of the film happens in an exposition of the work, you know, which is cinematically put together. That might also be part of the original score.
So now when you're talking about movies, Netika Shankar sir was talking about how every single time he comes to you, there's something new, that's something extra that Resul sir brings to the table. So what is that new thing that we can expect from 2.0?
He lied. He forces me into it, and he says, I bring it on. I cry every day. You know, when I say he lied, I said it in a very humorous way. His stories lends itself to things like that, you know. When we did Nanban, I thought we created, you know, of course, the story comes from 3 Idiots. It isn't a remake in that sense, but he sort of made it very original to the Tamil audience. All his film has that sense of, you know, understanding the right mixture of commercial element. When I say commercial element in the mainstream space, because he is one kind of a artist who wants to reach out to the maximum number of people. So his sense of storytelling, where he wants to pitch his stories and what to tell, how to tell, it's all very fascinating for me. I think he's one of the very important directors of our time, because we in India are passing through a very, very difficult time in our business. A few years ago, when Avatar released in India, it collected over 55 crore from India. When it came to Fast and Furious, it collected over 110 crore. When it came to Jungle Books, it collected over 200 crore. And numerous other Hollywood films. You have to understand, all these films are taking away the resources from India without spending a single penny in the making of those films here in India. There is resources going out of the country. We as practitioners, we as filmmakers, we are business people understanding the filmmaking. How can we stop it? We can't stop it because it's a market economy. How can we contain our cinema? How can we keep our own audiences? How can we keep our resources within the country? Is to counter it in the same coin. Is to give out a vision which is equally strong, boisterous, good, fascinating for the people in our own country, our own people. I think that is the responsibility of every nation's sons. First and foremost, reach out to his own people and give them that fascination of what they are seeking outside our culture, thereby holding together our resources within the reach of our work. I think Shankar is doing exactly the same. So I consider Shankar as very, very important. Be it Shankar, be it Rajamouli, be it Bhansali. Very few handful of people within the Indian cinema spectrum is holding this together. That is the importance of their work in the mainstream space. A larger set of audience comes, a larger set of people come together and celebrate the work. So the resources or the celebration of the work happens, stay within the country. We that's the only way we can counter the onslaught of Hollywood. Otherwise, we will be like what happened to French cinema. Everything will be swept away. Even though 20 films are only allowed to be released in China, Hollywood is taking the major share of market share in China. But only in India, 80% of Indian cinema is still domestic market. That's only because we are talking about stories of ourselves, which are fascinating. We are telling stories that belongs to us, that bind us together, which is, very, very peculiar to our story, our business. So that is the sanctity of people like Shankar, and I completely second him and completely with him, So 2.0 is very, very important in that respect. We have to give, there's a time where with 5,000 rupees, you can have a home theater system at home. People are happy. You can watch films on your palm. People are happy, but we need to pull them out of it. Come back to the theater. We have to give them larger than experience life, larger than life experience to hold them together in the theater space, That's a joy. That's a celebration, For that, we have to give them bigger meaning, We have to give them reasons to come out of their houses. Because every filmmaking is an appointment taken by a family to go, buy tickets, go there, watch it at that moment, that timing. Find your seat, sit there, get your popcorns, feed your family. It's a big event, Not everybody is able to do that. For someone to do that, we have to inspire them with our work. That is exactly what Shankar is doing. That's exactly what 2.0 eventually will come out, will be doing to the Indian audiences. So I'm very happy I'm part of it.
When you're talking about theaters, the sound quality also matters. Like most of the theaters are not equipped with the latest technology. Like when you're talking about the city, it's fine. But when you go to the rural area, most of don't you think that connection is missing there?
See, that's the another biggest struggle that we as practitioners making. Of course, as you said, even in multiplexes, the scene is not very bright, There are very few theatre chains adhering to standards. There is an ISO 9000 standard, which you are supposed to follow. There is an AES EBU standard, Audio Engineering Society or European Broadcast Union standards, which are supposed to follow in terms of visual, how the visual projection should be, how many luminance the projection should have, or what is the kind of stereophonic system that theatre should be equipped. If you look at it, it's very funny. If you look at it, how multiplex licensing is being issued, that you have norms that will make a multiplex chain qualify for tax exemptions. And if you read those, they are all civil norms. That there should be so many feet of gap, knee room between each rows. If you have so many rows of seats, you should have so many exits. You should have this much ceilings, etc., etc., etc. A cinema theatre is a place where you go to watch and hear and experience an audiovisual. There is absolutely no technical norms specified within the law of Indian, governmental organizations that issues a license to multiplexes. It specifies none. It says only one line. The Finance Act of 94 just say that if a theatre has 500 seats, it should have stereophonic sound system. It doesn't mean anything. See? So there is a lack of understanding in the governmental space, the lack of policy from their side as to the norms. So anything can be done by anybody. The theatre can charge any amount of money. They say, I have pushback seats, we have this, we have that, we have etc., etc., etc. What is specific of a film viewing experience? What is it that makes the correct viewing experience? None of them are following. Not the A list, not the B list. C list though is like a redundant thing. When the digital technology came in, we as practitioners thought, for the villagers and for the city people, they will see the film on the same day. What used to happen in the earlier time is, a film is released, all the A senders shows the film, then this print will go to C center. After a month or maybe after 2 months, this scratched print, after 500 screenings, it will go to the C center. That is how we treated our village cinegoers. But their money is also important for the business. They may be doing 20 rupees per ticket, here 100 rupees per ticket, but this is also their money. This is also money that should be valued. So we thought, on the same day, my village goer and my city goer will watch the same quality of print on the same day. He will watch it without scratches, like the way he is, but that did not happen. Every time when a technological innovation happens, there will be cost factor. There will always be people trying to cut corners, because there is no law that says that we have to do this, we have to do this. Only if you follow this, this is allowed, this has been given. Because of that lacuna of norms which any exhibition system has to follow, the audience have been taken for a ride. So in a village, they would see a DVD quality picture. If you go and watch it, oh, this is what I have done, like you will cry. You see? So it's very complicated.
Sir, as we are talking about sound and all that, yesterday when I heard the launch, the teaser itself teased me with a lot of sounds and stuff, like small nuances that you have brought in. But when you're talking about theatres in Kerala, where the multiplexes are not that much, so what kind of effect that we can expect there?
Kerala is particularly a bit different, because it's very high literacy rate and everybody is well read, they immediately catch on to things. What happened is, when after my Oscar, there was a Malayalam film that I have done, was released, for which I won National Award. It's called Parashiraja. When Parashiraja was released, they knew I had done some amazing work, but they couldn't hear it. In other parts of Kerala, they heard it. People were, talking about it. So they went on a rampage. They destroyed theatres, the audiences. because the sound was not playing correct. I had to go to national television and request everybody not to do that, But when we examined, it was a theatre owned by the government of Kerala. When we examined it, they were using like 30 rupees, Philips ka tweeter in theatres. Obviously, sound was distorted, but audience immediately caught on to it. Now, from A center to C center, everybody is almost at par. When I did Kunjanandha Rakada, when I went to theatres to check it, I really wanted to go to the outskirts of Kerala and check it. I was pretty amazed, the way they have taken it up. I don't think people are, there's an individual passion there. Exhibitors are not business people. Like multiplex is a part of a business program. Single screen, no. They still, you go to Calicut Crown, they are very proud of their lineage, what they have done over the years. I see the original poster of The Good, Bad and Ugly displayed over there, along with the latest release. I see that. Probably only place in the world. For last 75, 80 years, they have been at it, So, they have kept their projector out on the entrance of the theatre for people to touch and feel. So there's an association. That's a different way of experiencing film. So in South, we look at film and film people in a different way compared to the North, or compared to the rest of the world. Actually, there are demigods. Rajni sir, N.T. Ramarao, Shivaji Ganeshan. They are all people. MGR. They are all people who fought for righteousness. They are part of our, sense of belonging. They are not just film stars for us.
Sir, can we have a few words about Resul Pookutty Foundation, your family?
Oh.
Okay.
Oh wait. I mean, I've been doing philanthropic work. We had set up a foundation for that. Mr. Bachchan was the first patron of the foundation. There was only one reason, because when IFA asked me to be, part of the team and they wanted to honor me, I said, instead of honoring me, come with me and let's create a scholarship. Every actor who go and sit in the private award ceremonies, they charge them. They take money from them for appearances. You dance in an award ceremony, you charge 1 crore or 2, for every appearances. Everybody that you see in television are paid. I said, don't pay me. Let's create a scholarship. Because when I studied cinema in FTI, it was only 600 rupees fee. And I had, because I got first rank, I had central government scholarship, which is INB Ministry scholarship, and a state government scholarship. It was 500 rupees and 300 rupees. So I had 800 rupees in my kitty. I could study on my own. In today, that fees is 2.5 lakh rupees. So if today's fee and scholarship has not increased, and if today's fee structure existed, then I wouldn't have born as a filmmaker. And I believe that there are still people in the remotest part of India, from the lower class or lower middle class, who can't afford to study cinema with that kind of fee structure. But they would still be dreaming. If a Resul Pookutty has come out from a remote village, there will be someone else who will come from another remote village of India. And that is the source and strength of India. And I wanted to give that one dream back to one student. So myself and IFA together, under the blessings of Mr. Bachchan, we created a scholarship called Resul Pookutty IFA Foundation Scholarship, which sponsors a complete study, a $10,000 scholarship for 2 students every year. So that's how it started. So then, of course, there were medical expense. I think that's a key factor. If you have education, if you're able to impart education to students, they'll change their own life. Health, because we have our public life, has not geared up to deal with old age. So we have a lot of destitutes. So I thought, whatever that we could do. I am not physically doing all these things. I am being a catalyst. I stand as a catalyst, and things come and I pass it on to organizations. They do their bit. So that's my activity, Then after doing all this for quite some time, I realized that my focus is shifting from my work, going into all this. When Oscar happened, so I was just drifting. There were so many things happening in my life. Things started drifting from what I was doing. So I sort of restricted my social commitment now. I'm back on track, focusing more on my work, trying to diversify.
Great, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for the time. And it was a great pleasure to be here in front of you, apart from being an interviewer too. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, man. Lovely. Hi, I'm Resul Pookutty. You watch me on Chennai Radio, Engayum Epodum.